Hey everyone, and welcome back to the GiztHub channel. You know we love to do a deep dive here, and today we're going to be looking at the world of Afrobeats, specifically how it's making a splash at the 2024 Billboard Music Awards. We've got some really interesting articles here from Nigeria Premium Times and Pulse Nigeria, and that last one is sparking some serious debate online. So are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really fascinating to me is just the dominance of Afrobeats artists. In the top Afrobeats artist category this year, we've got, the heavy hitters like Asake and Burna Boy, but then you've also got like rising stars like Rima and Thames, and then Tyla, who's kind of, carving her own path in the genre.
Yeah, and speaking of Thames, she's not just, up for Artist of the Year,
hmm
but her song, Me and You, is also nominated for Top Afrobeat Song.
Uh,
So that's a double whammy right there.
yeah, for sure. That really shows her versatility as an artist. But then you've got Tyla, who's absolutely killing it, with not one, not two, but three nominations in the top Afrobeats song category. Water, Truth or Dare, and Jump, featuring Gunna and Skillabang. Talk about a triple threat.
Whoa. Okay, so we've got a lot of talent to talk about. But there's one nomination that's really causing a stir online. Adam Port and Strive's Move, featuring Malachi and Camila Cabello. It's nominated for Top Afrobeat Song. But a lot of people are saying it just doesn't belong.
Yeah, and at the heart of it, the issue is that this song, even though it's nominated for an Afrobeats award, doesn't actually have any Nigerian creative input. And that's led to a larger conversation about what it even means to be Afrobeats.
Exactly. And music journalist Joey Akin from Pulse Nigeria, he's been really outspoken about this. He's worried that this nomination is a sign of what he's calling the gentrification of Afrobeats. He's even making these comparisons to what happened with the genres like dancehall and reggae, where they sort of lost their original cultural identity.
As they became more popular globally.
Right. It's a valid concern. I mean, when a genre starts to get international attention, there's always a risk that it could be, I don't know a better word for it, but diluted. So the question becomes, how do you make sure that Afrobeats
Yeah.
keeps its authenticity and its roots as it continues to grow? Yeah, and then you've got this whole situation with Tyla, which adds another layer to this whole debate.
Yeah.
She won Best Afrobeats at the BBMAs this year, but initially she was saying she identified more with amapiano, which is a South African genre with a really distinct sound. It's more electronic,
Yeah.
like jazzy piano melodies.
Yeah, totally different vibe. And it wasn't until the EMAs that Tyla kind of circled back
Yeah.
and thanked Afrobeats. So it begs the question, what defines an artist's genre? Is it just how they see themselves? Is it the specific sounds they're using? Or is it something else entirely?
It's like these lines are getting blurred,
Mm.
which I guess is bound to happen as music travels across borders and influences blend together.
Yeah.
But then where do you draw the line? How do you stop a genre from losing its essence?
It's a tough question. There's not an easy answer. But
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that the Billboard Music Awards are really a reflection of commercial success at the end of the day. Nominations are based on sales, streaming numbers, radio play. It's all about the data.
So it's almost like the Billboard nominations are showing us what's resonating with the biggest audience,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
might not line up perfectly
Yeah.
with everybody's definition of pure Afrobeats or, where it originally came from.
Right. And that tension between, like artistic purity and commercial success, between holding on to those cultural roots and embracing this global evolution, it's at the heart of this whole conversation. It's about more than just who wins the award at the end of the day. Yeah, it really highlights the tension between celebrating a genre, reaching a global audience,
Huh.
and at the same time,
Yeah.
preserving its roots,
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, what's the best way to support Afrobeats artists, both within Nigeria and internationally? Is it through these really strict categories?
Yeah.
Or by embracing evolution and fusion?
Yes, such a good question. It's like we need to find a balance. Honor the foundation of Afrobeats, but also acknowledge that it's constantly evolving and changing, being influenced by other sounds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we think about this in the context of the Billboard Awards, it's important to remember that ultimately they're a reflection of what's popular right now, what's selling, what's capturing a global audience.
Right. So these nominations are like a snapshot of where Afrobeats stands commercially. But like we've been saying, that might not necessarily align with everyone's definition of the genre.
Exactly. The Billboard nominations, they really focus on data points like sales, streaming, and radio play. It's a certain perspective on Afrobeats' global success. But it's just one piece of the puzzle.
And it's a controversial one. It makes us think about what we really value in music. Is it artistic purity, commercial success, cultural representation?
Yeah, it's the million-dollar question, right? And I don't think there's an easy answer. But I'm curious for you listening, what are you thinking about as we're having this conversation? What parts of the Billboard nominations or this gatekeeping debate really stand out to you?
Right. What do you think about a song like Move, being nominated in the Afrobeats category?
Yeah.
And what about Tyla's decision to initially identify with Amapiano? There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
And it leads us to this bigger question of how the global music industry should navigate these complex issues of cultural exchange
Yeah.
and artistic ownership.
It's like a tightrope walk, celebrating the way music travels across cultures,
Yeah.
but not wanting genres to lose what makes them unique.
Exactly. And these are all questions we're thinking about. As Afrobeats continues to captivate audiences all over the world, I mean, it's a genre that's evolving so quickly, pushing boundaries, sparking all these important conversations about identity and influence. And you know what it even means to be authentic in a globalized music world.
Absolutely. And it's going to be fascinating to see as we get closer to the 2024 Billboard Music Awards, how these conversations continue to play out. Will we see more artists like Tyla blurring genre lines? Will the awards themselves start to change to better reflect all the nuances within Afrobeats?
Yeah, I mean, will these debates have an effect on future award categories? On nominations, even on how artists choose to label themselves and their music? It's even possible that we'll see entirely new platforms pop up that are specifically focused on celebrating Afrobeats and all its subgenres with a deeper understanding of its cultural context and history.
That would be amazing. A platform that really gets it, acknowledging the big names, but also celebrating those up-and-coming artists who are staying true to those core elements of Afrobeats, no matter where they're from.
Yeah, it would be a game changer for sure. And I think for listeners too, it would give them such a richer experience. You could connect with the music on a deeper level, understanding, its origins, its evolution, the passion behind it all.
This has been a really insightful conversation. I feel like this whole deep dive has been eye-opening. It's shown me that there's so much more to Afrobeats than just, catchy songs and great dance moves. It's a cultural force, a source of identity for so many people, and it definitely sparks some important conversations.
Yeah, for sure. And as it continues to grow and evolve on a global scale, those conversations about authenticity, about gatekeeping, about what even defines Afrobeats, they're only going to get more important.
So as you're listening to these artists, and as you're exploring the world of Afrobeats, I think it's worth keeping those questions in mind. What does Afrobeats mean to you? Where do you see the genre going? What role do cultural preservation and artistic freedom play in its future?
Yeah. Remember, these awards are just one perspective on a much bigger, much more vibrant musical landscape. So keep exploring, keep listening, and let's keep those conversations going.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Afrobeats at the 2024 Billboard Music Awards. If you want more celebrity news and deep dives into the hottest topics, make sure you subscribe to the GiztHub channel. We'll see you next time.